Alright, my name is Jacob Lillian, and welcome to my Tiny FS. I basically have two test cases for you guys today, and I'll just run them real quick. Basically, the first test, testing the vast majority of the functionality, starting with opening this test.txt for my file system, which stores all the information here. And I'm testing a basic mount, a basic open, simulating a file, opening two files, so you can kind of see just the format I have. This is going to be my super block containing the magic number and then a way for me to determine which is a free versus a non-free block. And the free blocks are determined by null, whereas this SOH, meaning a 1, is a unfree block. And then I have over here my root inode block, which contains all of my file names as well as a pointer to where that block is, where I can find that. And then if we go back to our test case, after I open those two files, I am writing this data to the second file and this data to the first file. So we can see that the second file, hello world, and first file is right here. So yeah, this is a data block that I have, and this is a inode block that I have. I just made the inode block come after the data block. And my inode contains the size of the file, the pointer, and a couple of timestamps, which I used for some additional functionality. And if we continue going, we can see that after I wrote that, I read and determined that that was the correct data, printed out here, that I did in fact read this phrase I am writing to the file, which is the same thing as my data. So that is true. And then I made this TFS stats, which basically prints out all of my timestamps that I created. And so you can see that those are correct. As I initially opened the file, which created it, slept for 1 second, so this comes after the write, and then slept for 2 seconds, and then I read, so you can see that that's correct. And then I also have the seek, which basically set the pointer back to null, this pointer here, which worked. Then I close the file, rename it. I also added the renaming and read directory functionality, and so you can see I renamed fd2, which used to be called file1234, to diff.txt. So you can see now in the super block, or not the super block, the root inode block, that actually is the name now. And in my read directory, this prints out all directory names and files. I see that I have root, and these files are the correct names now after the rename. And then, yeah, I'm just testing delete and unmount, showing that that works. And I have one more test case that basically does very similar things, except it also tests an overwrite or an overread. And so in my example here, I wrote out Jacob Lillian's data, and my pointer and size are equal, and so that's because I read, I kept reading here, and so I'm testing if another read would actually time out, which it does, gives me an error, which is correct, and so that test case passes as well. Yeah, this is my Tiny FS.